Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this Wednesday morning, and welcome to this specialist trading educational presentation. Now, today I'm really excited. I really want to talk to you and show you some examples of a new tool we have at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies. And the title of this is How to Identify the Next Big Move in Advance, because that's what this tool is designed to do. Now, the reason why I'm so excited about it is because it perfectly caught the current move we've been experiencing to the downside in the markets. Just for example, let's say that I had given this presentation just exactly a month ago, okay? This is what you would have seen. Let's go back and retrace what the markets look like, okay? Now in February, as we look at this chart, everything was fine here. This is a chart of the spiders in February. The market was slowly drifting higher, not a lot of volatility, but everything was going fine. And then we experienced this, okay? This was towards the end of February, the last week. Now, in the last 3 to 5 years, this is nothing out of the blue here. You've had these nice pullbacks, and every time the market sold off, it quickly went back and made new highs. All right, this is why everyone was a genius trading the markets, because it wasn't so difficult. All you had to do was either hold on to your position or buy some more, or re-enter the market, and you would be okay. But here's where this tool comes into play, because on this day was the 25th of February. This new tool actually generated an extreme downtrend warning, okay? So it was basically a signal telling you that you had a very high probable chance of the market going down, not just going down slowly but surely, but this tool is designed to identify these extreme trends, either up or down. Now, in this case, it was downward. All right, so let's go fast forward to about 3 weeks later. And we see here, Yahoo Finance reports that the Dow skids nearly 3,000 points in one day. The biggest drop since 1987, when I was on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange when I traded through the crash. Now, it says here, the Dow Jones Industrial Average plunged nearly 3,000 points on Monday, or nearly 13%, its biggest drop since the Black Monday crash of 1987. After the Fed surprise move to slash interest rates to near zero stoked fears about the damage the coronavirus is currently doing to the economy. So everyone got spooked on that, and that's why the market went down tremendously, right? It's easy to explain. That's why everyone's always looking for a reason. But if we look back once again, how did we know nearly 3 weeks in advance to warn of an extreme downtrending market prior to the biggest downward day move since 1987? As you can see here, going forward, here's where that news came out, and the market continued to go lower even after that. Well, this is what I want to talk and share with you today. As I stated, I'm really excited about this new tool because you can apply it to any market, any time frame, and any direction. It has so many possibilities to help you with your trading, and as you can see here, it really would have helped this past month or so. And the beauty of this is that everything is one click away. We designed it so that it would be extremely simple. We teach you exactly in our course how to trade it if you'd like, different suggestions and ways in which to trade it. But in order to see the setups, it's just one click away on our platform, the PTS Primo charting platform, that automatically identifies these extreme trends in advance. So as you can tell, I'm really excited about this. Welcome once again. My name is Steven Primo, President and Founder of Specialist Trading. And just over the past month since we really launched this new tool, we have seen so many new and different extreme warnings, either to the upside or downside, depending on what market, depending on what time frame. And it's really helped a lot of the beginning traders who have jumped on board with this, who have signed up. I've only presented a webinar on this only once before, and we had a lot of new people, so we decided to do another presentation to get a lot of you on board. We realize not everyone has come on board yet, but you've missed a lot of really good moves, but that's okay because there most likely are a lot more extreme moves to come in the future. So welcome once again. This is Steven Primo, President and Founder of Specialist Trading. I designed this tool with Pro Trader Strategies with one goal in mind, simply to educate you as traders, to get you in sync with the markets, because that's our goal. We are first and foremost educators. We're not here to tell you what to buy or what to sell. We're not here to tell you what market to trade or what time frame. That's going to be your decision. What we're here to do is simply provide you with tools, techniques, and strategies that have stood the test of time, that can really help educate you and also elevate your trading to the next level. So that's what we really want to do as your mentors. Now, before we begin, I'm going to show you a lot of examples today, but we have to first share with you our disclaimer. As I stated, I'm going to show you a lot of performance results using this new indicator, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. Also, please remember that all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. Now, another way to get some nice education and some free education is to follow us on Twitter. There's our handle right there. I would suggest everyone copy that down because every day I post different things from little bits of financial wisdom to signals our strategies have generated. So there's a lot of great free education. Please feel free to follow us on Twitter. Now, as I often state, if you're new to my presentations or webinars, we're a little bit different from other ones you may have attended. I know a lot of potential students go to webinars saying, well, I want to see what this guy says about the market, what he thinks the market's going to do, or I want to see what he thinks about this certain stock or this certain future or currency pair. If you think that's what you're going to hear today, you come to the wrong place because we don't believe in that. That's not our goal. You see, a good mentor does not trade for you or tell you what to trade or how to trade. A good mentor teaches you how to trade so that you can make those decisions on your own. Now think of it, the entire industry is based on you going to a chat room or a trading room or watching the news and waiting for the earnings or waiting for the employment numbers to come out so that you can make a decision. See, all your decisions are contingent on someone or something else telling you what to do, to give you the approval, to give you the green light. Well, we don't believe in that. In fact, in our opinion, that's a recipe for a disaster. That's why it's been estimated that 80 to 85% of all traders fail. It's because you've taken yourself out of the game by relying on these things that really show no levels of consistency at all. Trust me, I was using these same things roughly 43 years ago when I first started trading, and they didn't work for me then, and they're not about to start working miraculously right now today. The only way I have found out in my 43 years of trading that one becomes consistent is by making your own trading decisions. Now, the reason why most traders don't want to make their decisions is they feel, well, I don't have enough experience, Steve. I haven't traded long enough like you, or I don't have a degree in economics. I don't know what I'm doing out here. So I've always been taught you're supposed to follow the gurus, follow these guys that are successful. Trust me, these guys, most of the guys that are successful, how long do you know how long they've been trading? Most of them say, well, I've been trading 5, 10 years. That's really not enough time. You need decades to have the experience of trading. These are the ones that really know how to trade, and they all have something in common. They're not listening to anyone else. They're not going to a chat room to find out what to do. They're making their own decisions. So this is our goal as your mentor. Not to trade for you, but to teach you how to trade with a specialist edge. It's the same edge that taught me some 4 decades ago and what has sustained me. So our goal is hopefully to sustain you, not just for a couple of months or a couple of years, but for a couple of decades so that you can continue to keep trading all along the way in up or down markets, okay? Now, since this is going to be an educational class, please ask me as many questions as you'd like. My only request is that you ask them at the very end of the class, okay? I don't want to stop for every slide here. I don't want to take time out of your trading day. So if we stop for every slide the way some other webinars do, we'll be here far too long. So I have a lot of slides to share with you. Just wait till the very end. I promise I'll get to each and every one of them. The only question I will answer right now is the most common, and that is this being recorded? Yes, it is. You will all get a link to this recording at the very end of class. So if you have to leave early or if you have any technical issues, don't worry. You'll be able to watch us at your own leisure at home, okay? All right, with that stated, let's begin. And what I want to talk to you about today is this tool. But firstly, I'd like to ask you, which signal would you rather trade? Because that's the whole reason why this tool has been developed, okay? Because most traders get into a trade and things don't work out the way they thought they would. For example, as we see in this generic chart here, most traders would say, well, Steve, I was taught in that technical analysis class that this is a breakdown, a classic breakdown. We broke the upward trend. So I'm going to be a seller right here, okay? So you sell, and then this happens, and you say, wow, that didn't work out very well. You got stopped out, let's say, so now you change your mind. You say, well, okay, I took that course in candlesticks. This is a bullish engulfing pattern. I'm going to go long. So now you switch in reverse, and then this happens. You go, wow, maybe I was right. Maybe I was right to go short. I just got in a little too early, so I'll stay short. And then this happens, right? Look familiar? This is the way most traders trade, all right? Now, if you're taking a signal with any strategy, any system, any method, here's what you're looking for. Would you rather take a signal like that or a signal like this that is designed to find those strong, extreme trending moves, right? This is what you normally rather take, right? If you're getting a buy signal, you want it to go straight up after you get in, all right? Let's look at another example. Let's say you're a breakout trader, you see this, and you go, okay, I've got to buy here, right? This is where all the institutions were selling and they broke out, so that means they went through the resistance, so this is a great time to get in. So you buy, and then look what happens, right? So if you're looking at things like this, there's not a lot of consistency, but wouldn't you rather take a signal like this that generates a sell signal? You don't have to wait around for the market to go straight up and down for the next week, because right after the signal is generated, look what happens, okay? Now, remember, this is not 100% foolproof. This is not going to happen every time. But we have seen, since we've been working on this for the last roughly 6 months, there is a high level of consistency that when signals like this are generated, you will, right off the bat, generate a really strong and extreme trend in that direction. So these are the type of signals you want to be taking, all right? Now, this is where we're introducing our new PTS XT Extreme Trend Indicator. So the PTS XT stands for extreme because it really is designed just to do that, okay? So what exactly is it? It identifies high probability zones. These zones are where you want to be trading, okay? These zones are where the market will move really quickly and strongly either to the upside or to the downside. Now, these zones can also keep you out of the choppy whipsaw market. So for all intents and purposes, you may only want to be trading when you see that these zones have been identified. Because when these zones are not identified and the screen is blank on our platform, well, most likely you're in these choppy areas that we saw earlier before, where the market went up and down, and that's where you want to keep out. So when you combine these two advantages of trading only the high probability trending zones and staying out, well, you increase your odds for consistency tremendously because you're out of the congestion and you're only in when you're really moving strongly. Because of this, it will pinpoint these low-hanging fruit trade areas, all right? This is where you want to trade, in the low-hanging fruit areas. And with this, you can trade multiple different ways, all right? You can trade your own strategy. You can trade one of ours. You can trade some of the techniques and things that we teach in the course, but there are multiple trading opportunities. Now, included with this, it identifies market sectors to avoid and also market sectors to be in. For example, you could apply this to ETFs. You could look at entire sectors and see whether you want to be in them or not, all right? This is a really great tool for that. I think most importantly, though, it eliminates trading the traffic jams and the congestion. Remember those signals we looked at earlier? Let's give an example more likely of what this really looks like. Most traders, when you jump into a trade and then nothing happens, right? A lot of times either you lose right off the bat or you're in a trade for a day, a week, a month, and nothing has happened. You're saying to yourself, how much longer am I going to stay in this traffic jam? Because most likely everyone is doing the same thing. This is like congestion when you're driving and you're trying to get to work or to a destination and it's a traffic jam or you're on the freeway and you just can't get moving. And you're saying, why did I even do this in the first place? So you want to get to your destination, similar to going to work or similar to going from point A to point B, and you're stuck in this congestion, in this traffic jam. But what if a friend or another a person driving on the same route said, listen, I know of a secret shortcut. Now, nobody else takes this shortcut, but whenever you take this shortcut, it's like you have the whole road entirely to yourself. You can get from point A to point B without any congestion, without any traffic jam. So this is what trading with the extreme trend indicator is like. It's your own personal highway to having, no one else there, to having this nice strong trend, and this is your own personal highway to consistency. This is what it's like when you trade with the new PTS XT Extreme Trend Indicator. All right, so what exactly is this based on? Well, these are proprietary tools. The indicator is based on multiple proprietary indicators and their relationship to one another. All I can tell you is because we're keeping the formula in-house, but when these indicators, when these tools all line up, most likely you're going to have a nice strong move. Now, is it a predictive indicator? No, it doesn't tell you how high this is going to be. It doesn't tell you how low it's going to be. Now, you could have a trend that lasts for a day or two. It could last for a month. You don't know. But either way, it's going to be a strong trend in that direction. I know a lot of you are saying, well, wait a minute, Steve, you have these other tools you're always talking about. How is this any different from the other specialist trading tools that you're teaching us about? I mean, why should I get involved in this if you have other things? That's true. So let me define our most important other tools we have for talking about the trend. Now, the first one is the buy-sell line. You've heard me speak about it numerous times, okay? This is the tool I've stated that if I was stranded on a desert island, this is the one tool I would use for my trading. That's how important it is. As we look here at this weekly chart of WIM, okay, this is how you apply the buy-sell line, because the buy-sell line is designed for the overall trend. You see, it's not designed for these strong moves. It's designed for these overall trends, because even though these are some strong moves either to the upside or to the downside, within those moves there is some chop. You see that? And as you can see here, there's a lot of chop. Now, within this down move, there was some up movement. Within this upward move, there was some sideways movement. So you see, this is primarily designed to tell you what the overall trend is. That overall trend can last weeks, even months, or even years. So that doesn't apply here. Now, the other powerful tool we have that has an advantage with discerning the trend is the PET-D. All right. So why not just use the PET-D? Well, the difference is the PET-D is designed to determine what the trend is on a tick-by-tick basis. It's extremely sensitive. Because of this sensitivity, sure, it may define a bar or two in advance of a really strong move. But remember, the PET-D stands for the early trend detector. And because of this, it may give you 3 to 4 weeks of sideways movement prior to the big move happening. You see, all the bars were green for 4 weeks prior to that big move taking off. And it works to the downside as well. All the bars have been colored red for 3 weeks prior to the move happening, okay? So because of its sensitivity, it doesn't always tell you exactly at the moment when an extreme trend is supposed to happen. Here's the beauty of the PTS XT. That's what it was designed for. Not to have you in it early like here, but to have it, so that it's giving you a warning just maybe a day or two before that happens. So the main purpose of this, it's an indicator designed to announce in advance when a strong trend is just about to happen. All right, so it's not designed for the overall trend. It's not designed on a tick-by-tick basis that may get you in a little bit too early and you may have to wait. It's designed to announce in advance when a strong trend is just about to happen, usually a day or a bar or two in advance. For example, look at NTRS here, okay? This was in February. It was going sideways. Nothing was happening until this day. Now, someone could say, well, that's not enough information, Steve. How would I know we're in a downtrend, or how would I know that a big move is supposed to happen? Well, that's the beauty of the PTS XT. According to all of its calculations in the formula, everything came together, and it says, most likely, there's a very high probability that this is the beginning of an extreme downtrend. Remember, this is not 100% foolproof, but we've seen extremely high levels of consistency in the current market. And as you can see, had you simply sold or maybe applied some strategy to that, well, you had 35 points to work with to the downside, okay? So this is how it works. You will see a kind of a reddish-orange block for the downward signals. You'll see a reddish, or I should say an orange, or a yellow, a yellow block when you have an uptrend warning. So let's look at some examples so you can get a better feel for this and see how they could have helped you this past month. And remember, everything is one click away on our platform. There's nothing you have to figure out. There's no formula you have to come with. There's no proprietary tools you have to make sure are all aligned. It's one click away. You can see on the very next bar if a signal or setup was generated. Okay, let's look at the spiders before they fell out of bed. This is going back to last year, December, okay? Nothing much was happening. We had a nice strong upward move here in December. This was only about 3 or 4 months ago, okay? A nice strong upward move. Most traders would say, well, it went up a little bit too quick. I'm going to, wait for it to settle. Maybe I'm going to buy once it gets much lower back down here, or maybe I'll even short it, okay? But all you have to do on our platform is click on PTS XT, the Extreme tab, and look what happened. You would have seen that there was a yellow box around this bar. That's an uptrend warning. Remember, this is not a guarantee that it's going to go to the moon, but it's telling you most likely there's a strong upward move. And as you can see, you had 10 points to work with on the spiders. Now, this, 10 points is still a lot, but that represented hundreds, if not thousands of points in the Dow Jones. Now, once price went out of that zone, you can either exit the trade, you can stay in or raise your stop. It's entirely up to you. Remember, we're only showing you these high probability setups. But look what happened after that. The very next bar, once you were in the neutral zone, all of a sudden the next one said, you know what? There's going to be another big move. You could have gotten back in or stayed in, moved your stop higher because you had 11 more points to work with, okay? Until we got out of the zone, okay? Once the tool is telling you that you're no longer in this extreme uptrend, the blocks disappear and it goes back to the regular screen. Now, as we can see, look what happened after that. If you had exited, you would have missed all of this. This is where most traders lose money in this chop. Remember, we talked about the congestion. Remember, we talked about the traffic. This is where most traders lose. So you would have avoided trading altogether and waited for another either yellow or orange block to appear. Now, look what happens right after this. Another yellow block appears. So now's the time to get in if you haven't been in, and you had 8 points to work with. Now, once again, at this point, you're out. So the indicator is telling you most likely the trend is over. And look, this was the beginning of that large move to the downside at the end of February. All right, let's look at ALK. Kind of going sideways to lower, but not enough information to give us any real idea of what's going to be happening in the market, right? Well, not exactly, because if you turned on or clicked on the indicator tab, you had an early warning right here on the 23rd of February that an extreme downtrend was most likely about to happen. Now, this is a great indicator warning because let's say you were long this. Well, this is a great warning to know that, well, you know what, maybe I might want to sell my position. Maybe I want to move my stop up, or perhaps I'd want to sell half of my position, take a little profit. So you could use this as an exiting tool if you'd like as well. Either way, it would have been good to heed this warning because look what happened. The stock fell 20 points coming into the first week of March this month. Here's an example in IBM. Looks like it's rolling over, right? Well, if you clicked on the indicator tab, you would have seen that you had a nice uptrend set up right here. This was in the beginning of February. You could have taken advantage of 16 points to the upside. And then when it told you to get out, you would have avoided all of this altogether. And then guess what? Sell signal was generated at the end of February, and the stock fell 21 points, okay? Now, most traders would say, well, Steve, this is a congested market. Most likely there's a range here because there's resistance at the top of the range and then there's support at the bottom. I know the institutions probably have all their orders there, so I like to follow what the institutions are doing. I took that $10,000 online class and they never fail. So most likely, if we're kind of in this range, this is where I want to buy, right at the bottom of the range, and then I'll sell at the top, okay? Well, trust me, that doesn't work. I tried that 4 decades ago until ultimately I lost a lot of money. Why not listen to the market? These tools were telling us that once you click on the indicator tab, that there was a very big warning of a downtrending market. So forget about support, forget about resistance. What is the market telling you? It's telling you most likely we're going to go lower, and 18 points to the downside in APA coming into the second week of March. How about right here? This was in a weekly chart of gold, okay? This was before gold started to sell off, but prior to that, on this weekly chart, we see at the beginning of the year in January, on a weekly chart, you had a yellow block surrounding this close of this bar. So this was your chance to maybe make a little bit of money in gold, maybe to get in, because look what happened. It went up 13 points. Now, after that, gold quickly exited this, but you had 13 points to work with. Or if you're a commodity trader, you could have applied this to actual commodities to purchase gold. Let's look at CLR, okay? Someone looking at this would say, there's absolutely nothing to see here, Steve. In fact, it looks like support. This is a really strong Fibonacci support, so I'm going to buy this right here, okay? Well, trust me, I traded Fibonacci support and resistance years ago. Once again, it's very subjective. You know, one trader's support is another trader's resistance. It's very difficult to figure out. Why not just listen to the market instead of trying to figure out all the Fibonacci lines, okay? If you just clicked on the Extreme Trend tab, you would have seen that right here at the so-called Fibonacci support, there was a reddish-orange block around this bar. This was in mid-January, well before the market fell out of bed. This is well before you started to have these fears about the coronavirus. This was in mid-January when the market was still going higher. But these proprietary tools all signaled that there was a warning for an extreme downtrend to take place. This was a great warning because the stock fell 25 points coming into the second week of March. Not a bad little tool you could have had to work with, right? All right, now Apple, in hindsight, this is going back all the way to last year, October, November, December, January. Obviously, this was going up, straight up in hindsight. But how could this tool have helped us prior to knowing that it was going to go higher? Well, you click on the tab, and you see here you had 3 chances. You had a really nice signal right here, 20 points that you could have potentially worked with. Another one in November, 10 points you could have worked with. Now, here's what we mean about sometimes it doesn't work in your favor, as you can see. We had 3 bars here that were colored yellow, and none of them really panned out. So with the tools we teach you in the course, you could have either stayed out of these trades, or we could have showed you ways in which to actually broken even with these trades and not traded them at all. Then using these same tools, you would have gotten in right here in the beginning of December, if you chose to do so, and ridden this 45-point move up. So this is a perfect example of where not every setup is an extreme move. Sometimes the market fits and starts, goes into these setups and doesn't move. But remember, in our course, we teach you these ways that can either keep you out of these where they have these fits and starts, or else you would have taken a small minor loss. And trust me, if you've taken a small minor loss, let's say in this first one, don't you think you could have made it back with this one that generated 45 potential points to the upside? All right, let's look at CVX. Once again, the same thing in hindsight. It's like, well, Steve, yeah, sure, it looks easy to go short now, but how would I have known that? Well, look at the chances you had. Right here, the very first warning would have been right back here at the beginning of January. You had 12 potential points to the downside. Once you got out of the block, you avoid trading altogether, and then you could have gotten right back in here on the very first bar for 18 potential points to the downside. These blocks, these zones are really high probability areas for trading. And this is what we mean by the low-hanging fruit. This is where you want to trade. You can either apply one of your own strategies, someone else's, or you can apply one of mine, or use what we teach you in the course. But this is the beauty of it. These are the areas you want to be trading, and these are the areas when you don't see the blocks that you want to be avoiding. All right, let's look at ZROZ here. All right, we had a setup here at the beginning of January that would have generated 10 quick potential points. Then you're out right here. Then you have a quick 2 points roughly that you could have made, but it most likely wouldn't have done anything. And most likely if you were stopped out, you would have lost anywhere from 2 to 3 points. But right here, you had another chance to get in. This was in mid-February to go long. Look what happened coming into the second week of March, okay, where the market was falling out of bed. This potentially made 55 points. So as you can see, not everything is going down. So in March, this was making new highs to the upside. This is the beauty of this tool. It doesn't take everything into account. It only takes into account the indicators and how they're matching up with the current market you're looking at. All right. So that's the beauty of it, where the market may be making new lows and falling out of bed. This was telling you, you may want to buy this stock because there's extreme trend upward movement warning right now. Let's look at another chart here. Once again, IBM generated these nice upward setups. And then once the trend changes, you would have been out of this area altogether. You could have potentially captured 13 points, been out of these 3 or 4 bars, and then got back in to potentially capture 48 points. Remember, you can apply any strategy once you're in these blocks, once you're in these zones. It can be one of yours, one of mine. You can trade the very first bar if you want to, or you can use a technique or method that we teach in the course. It's up to you. Remember, we're not here to tell you how to trade this. We're here just to share with you these high probability zones that can really take your trading to the next level. All right, here's an example in CMG. All right, we realize expensive stock, right? But just to show you how it can work in an inexpensive stock or an expensive one. Right here, you had a chance to take advantage of 50 points to the upside. All right, you could have purchased calls or some type of spread. And once you had the down warning, this was the extreme downtrend warning, you could have switched over, sold whatever you were long, or moved your stops up, or purchased some puts, because 200 points coming into the second week of March, okay? Let's look at RCL. Obviously, it looks like we've broken down. Are we oversold though? A lot of traders say, well, Steve, this didn't, confirm it. I follow those oscillators, and this is not a confirmation. This low did not generate a new low in the oscillator. I like to follow, the MACD and everything. So this is a divergence. So I think I'm going to buy here. Everything's oversold. Will most likely bounce all the way back up to these old highs. Okay? Sound familiar? This is the way you make your trading decisions. Basically, if you're making trading decisions off of divergence, off of overbought or oversold, you're basically you have a recipe for a disaster because there's no consistency in those methods, okay? I've done that. I've done that for you already 4 decades ago, and it doesn't work. So why waste your time and money on worn out traditional wisdom that really shows no levels of consistency? Why not look at things that actually do work? Just click on the extreme trend on our platform, and you'll see here that where you thought the stock was oversold, it's actually giving you a big warning that it's going to go lower. The stock fell 72 points coming into the second week of March. So why use things that really show no levels of consistency? Look how long this has been in this downward trending block. Remember, this is not for a slow downward trend. This is showing you when these extreme moves are supposed to take place. Such as Tesla. Now, we all know before Tesla started going down that it had an extreme move to the upside. Could this indicator have helped you identify these? Well, look at the first one. The first one was identified in October for potentially capturing 100 points. Then it would have kept you out of this congestion right here. See how the market went sideways? That's where you don't want to be in the market. And then you could have potentially gotten in right here in mid-December of last year to capture potentially 600 points to the upside. Remember, the beauty of this tool is not only does it tell you these high probability areas for an extreme trend to take place, but it also keeps you out and tells you to avoid the trading when there isn't a block, when there isn't a zone being generated. All right, so let's look at some other markets. Not everyone trades stocks. Not everyone trades daily bars. Let's look at a weekly bar chart of BABA, okay? BABA. Now, once again, in hindsight, going back to 2016, sure, it was easy to see that you should have been long this, right? But could we have known in advance when a strong trend was going to take place? Well, sure, we can use the same concept with weekly bars. Click on the Extreme Trend tab. Right here in July of 2016, you potentially could have captured 30 points. Then it would have kept you out of this congestion, out of this chop. And then in February of 2017, roughly 3 years ago, you had a buy signal generated using the extreme indicator, and you could have potentially captured 90 points coming into 2018. Once again, you would have avoided this congestion because there were no zones, no blocks. Here's one thing that students always tell me. They say, well, Steve, does this repaint? Does this recalculate? Because I don't want to be out of something or in something and then see a day or a week later that it repaints itself. Absolutely not. None of our tools, none of our indicators, none of our strategies recalculate and format where a setup or a signal is. Once you get a signal, that's where it is, and it stays there, okay? Let's look at CVX, okay? Here we're looking at a downtrend. As you can see here, 12 potential points to the downside. We would have avoided the trading right here, and then 18 potential points right here. Now, how could you have traded this using some of our strategies? Well, guess what? Using some of our strategies, look at the sell signals that were generated to the downside, okay? You would have avoided trading here, and then there was another sell signal right at the top. So this is another way to trade it. You don't have to actually trade the very first indication of a warning. You can wait for a signal to be generated. As we look at a 4-hour chart of the euro dollar, this was in March. We see here a nice uptrend was in play. Had we added the tool, look at all the chances you had to go long, okay? Now let's say you don't have a strategy or you don't really know how to apply this. Well, use one of our strategies. Look at the buy signals that were generated that could have gotten you into these, okay? That's the beauty of this. Either you want to actually trade the zone or you can trade a signal while you're in the zone. Another beautiful thing is if you see like a yellow block like this, well, obviously you don't want to be taking a sell signal. Right there off the bat, you're going to have this higher level of consistency because it will keep you out of these losing trades. Here's the sell signal that was generated in a 5-minute chart of the E-mini. Okay, this was in March 6th. All right. At the same time, you were 3 bars into an extreme trend downtrend signal. So this is a high probability setup. You could have taken this 5-minute signal, 50 points you could have captured in the next 24 hours, okay? Potentially. We're not saying you would have, but that's how you could have traded. By using one of these signals, potentially could have captured 50 points. That's roughly $2,500 per contract you could have traded. Let's look at commodities, all right? We know that a lot of people now, a lot of our students are telling us, Steve, I want to trade something more tangible, something real. I don't want to trade a piece of paper like a stock. It really doesn't mean anything. I want to trade something that's actually there, that exists. So a lot of traders in bad markets transfer over onto commodities. Well, guess what? Our tools, all of our strategies, all of our tools and indicators can easily be applied to commodities as well. This is a chart of coffee last year. While it was going up, look at the extreme trend indicator. 26 potential points you could have made to the upside. Then in January of this year, 21 potential points to the downside. And using our strategies, look at this buy signal that was generated right here at the very bottom of that up move, and look at the sell signals generated all along the way down. Now, here's where this tool really helps you. A sell signal using the same strategy was generated right here, but it was in the area of congestion. So this is where you avoid trading altogether. Because if you don't have a block, this is not where you want to trade. Most likely you would have gone short and been stopped out. But the beauty of these zones is that they can keep you out of this congestion, and they will put you in the strong trending zones. Okay, so let's review what we've just shared with you and taught. The advantages of trading with the PTS Extreme Trending tool. Remember, it identifies these high probability zones in advance. So you will see a block appear prior to the big move. Now, does this indicate 100% of the time that a big move is going to happen? No, we showed you some instances where it doesn't happen. The beauty is, in our course, we teach you ways to trade with it. So you could have actually stayed out of some of these trades or taken a very minimal loss using some of the techniques we trade. Now, if you only trade these zones, well, then it will keep you out of these choppy whipsaw markets. So right off the bat, you will increase your odds for consistency because you'll only be trading in these strong trending areas and you'll be out of the congestion. Now, these strong trending areas pinpoint these low-hanging fruit trades. This is where you want to trade your strategy, where you want to trade someone else's, where you want to simply buy or sell at the market, or trade one of our methods, okay? Because it provides multiple trading opportunities. If you like to trade sectors, if you like to trade ETFs or trade the components that make up a particular sector or ETF, you can use this on those sectors. So it will tell you if a sector is in a current strong uptrending mode or a downtrending mode. It's a great way to trade this. But the best thing is that it eliminates these traffic jams, these congestions. So you don't have to be in this whipsaw area. Excuse me. Remember, most traders wait in line for a favorable market. Most of the time you're waiting, you're saying, boy, why is everybody making money where I'm at the back of the line here? And every time I get in, I'm waiting and nothing happens, or it goes the opposite direction. Unfortunately, that's because you're trading with conventional wisdom that really shows no levels of consistency. And everyone trades that way. I would say roughly about 80 to 85% of all traders trade that way. So that's why you have this congestion. That's why you're waiting in line. But when you start trading with the PTS XT indicator, you're trading in the express lane. You go right up to the front of the line. There's no waiting. You're in these really nice highways. It's like having a shortcut so that no one else is driving on the road with you. You have a really strong trending market. And now, for the first time, you know what it's like to trade in the express lane. All right, so here's how to trade in the express lane. We're going to offer you a great discount on the PTS XT Extreme Trend. We're going to throw in some extra bonuses as well. Remember, this new tool generates these high probability zones. You can apply it to any market and any time frame. I know we showed a lot of examples on daily bars of stocks, but trust me, if you trade currency pairs, if you like to intraday trade the E-minis the way I do, if you like to trade Bitcoin, or if you like to trade commodities, it makes no difference. You can apply this to any market, any time frame. You can trade your current strategy with it. The beauty of this is that you will increase your odds for consistency because now you're trading in the express lane, okay? You can build your own strategy based off these blocks, based off these high probability zones, okay? You will have now the confidence to pull the trigger because you know now you're trading in these extreme trending blocks, in these extreme trending zones. It's great for market timing as well. Now, remember, everything we just showed you was done so easily, so simple with the platform. Everything is one click away. So because of that, we're going to give you 12 months free of our platform. We don't want you to try and figure this out, apply it on another platform. We want to make it simple for you so that you just have to click on the tab and you see right off the bat if a setup has been generated or not. So here's what comes with our platform. For 12 months, you're obviously going to get one-click access to the new indicator, the PTS XT. You're also going to get our enhanced buy-sell line. I showed you that earlier. This is the tool that generates the overall trend. You're also going to get another tool I developed with Pro Trader Strategies. This is our strength of trend tool. So this is a great way to use with the PTS XT indicator because it will tell you when it appears many times when a trend is falling out of or running out of gas. It's falling out of preferential treatment that seems to be waning with a lot of the energy. You're also going to get a signal scanner. Over 90 of the most prominent technical indicators, auto-generated exit levels. If you're using one of our strategies or one of the techniques on the platform, you'll see where the exit levels are, and this comes with personalized tech support. But let's talk about the signal scanner because I want to share with you, remember that opening chart we talked about? Remember, this was just on the 16th. This was just 2 weeks ago. The Dow skids nearly 3,000 points, okay? What if you had scanned prior to that, okay? Remember, this is what you would have seen. On the 25th, you would have seen a reddish-orange block surrounding this bar. This is the spiders. Prior to that day when the Dow was down 3,000 points. So you could have made a decision here, if you were long, to either exit all your positions, or you could have moved your stop up. Maybe you would have wanted to take a little bit off the table, some of your profits, maybe sell half of your positions. But either way, it would have helped you extremely because you wouldn't have used this as a warning. You wouldn't have used this as something to purchase. You would have looked at this as an extreme downtrend warning. And then we all know what happened after that, all right? This is a current chart of the spiders. But this was comparable to a nearly 9,000 point drop in the Dow in just 1 month. How did we know? Well, we don't know. Remember, this is not a predictive tool. We didn't know this was going to go down 9,000 points. But wouldn't you have liked to have known just a month ago? This was exactly 1 month ago today to either be out of the market, exit some of your positions because an extreme downtrend warning had just been announced to you, okay? Now, guess what? This was yesterday. The Dow surges more than 2,100 points, the biggest gain since 1933. All right, this was yesterday. So ask yourself, is this the beginning of a new extreme up move in the market? Well, you can only find out if you have the tool on our platform, okay? So this is the beauty of this tool. You could be finding out right now if we are in the beginning of a big up move to the upside, if we're going to continue the downward side, we're still in the negative block, or if we've just gone into the congestion zone and we should be out of the market entirely. Here's the great offer we have. Now, our pre-launch special price is $49.95. We are taking $500 off that. You're not going to have to pay that. You're only going to be charged $44.95. You're going to save $500, but we're also going to be throwing in the 12 months of the platform. This is a great, great offer. Before I lose my voice today, because I have an allergy, and I lose my voice when spring comes along. So before I lose it, please take advantage of this great offer. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. Here's their phone number. I would really highly suggest calling them directly. Talk to them about the discount. Talk to them about if you have a strategy already, if you want to work with them. They're extremely flexible. That is the link you see at the very bottom of the page there. I've just posted the live link on the platform, on the GoToWebinar platform. So if you look on the chat box on the far right, that's where you want to click on that link, and it will take you to the sign-up page, and you can get more information as well. Okay, I will open up the question and answer box. If you have any questions, I see you do. And once again, as I take time to clear my throat, take this time to write as many questions as you want, and I will be back in 2 seconds. Okay, I am back. Hopefully my voice is back. First question, does the close of the following bar indicate when the box begins and ends? Well, yes. In other words, this is predicated off of each bar close. So you won't see this happening like, until the bar closes altogether. So in other words, you would see right now with that big movement we saw yesterday, where the Dow was up 2,100 points, if we were beginning a new upward trend, or we were out of the market entirely, or we were staying in the downward box. So that's the beauty of this. Okay, so it's not something that's repainting, and it's not something that's generating. So you have to kind of wait for the bar to close. All right, if that answers your question. Does your software scan for stocks with the PTS XT indicator that turns orange or yellow? Yes, that's a great question. With that, remember, you have the scanner, so you can automatically scan for these. Let's say you only want to trade, which, to be honest with you, I would suggest that. It's not a recommendation. It's not telling you how to trade, but that's a great way to trade because you're only going to be in these high probability areas. The best way to do that is to simply click on the scanner for the indicator. And it's simple on our platform. You would just click that on and click on scan and choose whatever market you're interested in. You could choose stocks, you can choose currency pairs, futures, Bitcoin, commodities, whatever market you're interested in. And in less than 1 minute or 2 minutes, you would see where the new boxes have been formed for the next day. Okay, so that's the beauty of this. You'll know exactly what you should be in. Now you can also do a weekly scan. You can do an intraday scan. So this beauty of this is you get that scanner as well. Can this be used on MT4 charts or only on the Primo PTS charts with FX assets? That's a question for Pro Trader Strategies. Just off the top of my head, I believe you can use it for MT4, but once again, I would contact Pro Trader Strategies because they're in charge of all the tech support. They're in charge of all the data references, and they're more knowledgeable about that than I am. I'm just mainly in charge of teaching it and showing you how to apply it to your own trading. But they actually would be able to tell you better than I am. Remember, once again, I would suggest calling them up anyway in terms of pricing. They're very flexible. But honestly, yeah, that would be the best thing to do. Contact them. And there's no obligation. I know a lot of people, myself included, when I was looking for things when I was first started trading, I'd say, well, I don't want to contact these people because they're going to sell me. And then if I talk to them, it's going to be a hard sell. No, they're very knowledgeable. They're all seasoned trading consultants, so they're not going to try to sell you. They'll give you the information and let you make the decision, okay? So don't be afraid to contact them at 310-598-6677. Someone is someone's asking, what about contacting us with consultation? Well, that's one of the things I didn't mention. Whenever you become a student of mine, with any course or with any indicator, you get my personal email address. So if for any reason you're having difficulty trying to learn how to apply it, trying to learn how to use one of the ways in which to trade with it, don't worry, you just email me and I'll be there to answer your question as soon as I can, okay? So you have a lot of ways to learn how to use it. And we're not going to just throw you to the wolves and say, well, good luck, try and figure it out on your own. You can always email me and I will be there to help you, okay? And also, we have a great tech support department too. If you can't figure out how to use the scan, you can contact the tech support at Pro Trader Strategies or your trading consultant. They can answer those questions as well, okay? So there's lots of great information, lots of great ways to learn, and we're here for you. Now, I remember last week, a student was asking about using the scanner and exactly how to do it. So we recommend that they contact the tech support. So we're always going to answer your questions. We just want to make sure that you contact the correct department. Anything with teaching and trading, you would send your questions to me, to my personal email. Anything with tech support or discounts, you contact Pro Trader Strategies, okay? Once again, I'm not sure, I just started this presentation about an hour or so ago, so I haven't seen what the markets have done in the last hour because I know there's so much volatility. The market lately has been moving up and down hundreds of points in a matter of minutes. So for all I know, we're making new highs, and for all I know, we're making new lows. But the beauty of this is that the extreme trend tool will tell you once the bar closes what its indication is. And it really, I gave this webinar a month ago, and we've had a few students sign up for this, and they've had some tremendous rave and reviews, testimonials about how it has helped their trading. And so we wanted to give it to you again because it's just really helping a lot of students in these really, most especially these volatile markets. So if you think you need that in your trading, if you're really struggling with these markets, this is a great, amazing tool. I'm using it myself and it's really worked tremendously. I've been using it for about 3 or 4 months, but in this current market, it works tremendously, okay? As we close here, remember, contact Pro Trader Strategies at 310-598-6677. There's absolutely no obligation. They'll answer any question you may have, anything about using it on another platform, to discounts, to applying other strategies with it as well, okay? And as we close, I just want to say thank you so much. As we look at one last time at our disclaimer, thank you so much for taking time out of your Wednesday. I know a lot of you may be struggling in these current markets. I also know a lot of you are like deer with your eyes in the headlights. You just are like so unaccustomed to markets like this. You've just pulled out and you're saying, I'm not going to do anything. Well, if you want to get back on board and if you want to have the confidence to pull the trigger, this is a great, great course to take, okay? So thank you once again for attending. I wish you the best of luck trading, and I look forward to all of you becoming students of mine in the new PTS XT Extreme Trend Indicator course. Thank you so much. I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.